I now have a brand new shallow aquarium. This is the old tank that was temporarily placed and set up while I had the new tank on order. I've been recording clips over the last couple months, couple weeks, and I've now put them all together because I've had to wait for parts and the actual tank itself to all arrive, and then I had to build the stand for the tank. So I've put all these clips together and the tank is now complete. This is the old tank, like I said before. I'm just taking it down here while I talk about the new tank, and I'll be showing the new tank in just a sec. But this is my second tank. I only have two, and it's going to be a slightly smaller tank, about 90 litres, but it's quite shallow. It's got quite a large footprint, and I like the shallow tanks because there's a lot of swimming area for the fish, but it's also not a lot of water to do water changes and things. Because it's my second tank, I really want a low maintenance tank. So the old one's been took down, took all the plants out, took all the gravel out, took the fish out, and I'm going to replace the sand gravel that I usually use with bigger gravel rather than the sand. This is it here. I spread it out on the table to try and get rid of as much dust and dirt from the gravel, because I used this gravel in my larger tank and it was so cloudy I had to do loads of water changes. I put it out on the table like that for the rain. I thought the rain might do a good job, but didn't really work. So then I filled this bucket up with gravel quite a few times, and it seemed to get most of the cloudiness out of the gravel. It wasn't too bad when I put it into the new tank. This is the old tank. Temporarily set it up here for a couple of days while I put the new stand in the room. This is just in my kitchen. I've got the plants in here, I've got the fish in here. There's only 3 fish in here, dwarf neon rainbows. I had quite a few, but they just kept dying off, and in the end I just didn't want to buy any more because they kept dying. So I'm left with 3, and they're doing quite well, so I'm going to keep them in the tank. Now straight to the new tank. Custom aquarium, custom dimensions. It took about 3 months for it to get made and delivered, primarily because of COVID. That was a big factor. But eventually I received the tank. It's 100 centimetres by 45 centimetres by about 23 centimetres high. So it holds only about 90 litres of water, but it's a metre wide. And then I built the stand as well. Me and my dad built the stand out of wood. It holds about 20 kg of gravel. I've got standard black gravel in here, mixed with some Seachem fluorite black, just so the fluorite is a clay-based substrate, and it just holds in some of the nutrients from the water to feed the plants. It's quite expensive, so I only added a small 7 kg bag and mixed it with 20 kg of normal gravel. And because of COVID, I haven't been to the shops, haven't been to the aquarium shops, so I haven't got any nice stones or nice decorations. I just had the stones that I had in the garden that I wasn't using. They're just normal round stones. So I might replace them further down the line, but for now I just want to set the tank up, get the plants in, get the fish in, and get it going. So I built the stand out of wood using the king of DIY, Joey's method of building stands. So it's quite strong and it's not too heavy, and painted it black and varnished it. So these are just plants that I had. Again, I didn't buy any new plants because of COVID. I didn't go to the shops. I could have got some off eBay, but I'm not too fussed at the moment. This is just the beginning of the setup. Got some Crips, got some Anubis, got some S. repens, some red tiger lotus. Just a few, just a dot around. But as you see a little bit later on in the video, I did buy some more plants just to fill it out a bit. And as you can see, the water's still quite cloudy. It'll take a couple of days for this to clear up. But compared to how my larger tank was with this gravel, it's quite clear actually. I'm just putting the plants around, dotting them around. Not too fussed about the scape. You know, put the rocks in, put the plants in. And it should look alright. But again, the rocks, I don't really like the rocks, especially with the black substrate. The brown rocks don't look the best. But that'll do for now. I really like the Siriu stone. I have that in my larger tank as well. So I might get some of that in the future, just replace the rock. You can't really buy it off the internet because you can't see the individual pieces, so I always get rock from an aquarium store, but I haven't been able to go yet. So I might replace it later down the line. So with the filtration, at first I used a Fluval 206 with the inline high door heater, 300 watt. But I just did not like it in the end. Like, it worked well. It didn't look too bad. I don't really mind the pipes going up the side because that's just how it's going to be on this tank. But I just wasn't comfortable with all the connections and all the hoses bending round. So I bit the bullet and replaced the filter with an Awazi 250 Thermo Biomaster. Thermo editions come with built-in heaters. This is why I bought it, and they are quite expensive to be fair, but they do have a heater built in, and they are quite nice as a filter goes. It's got a sponge in there that you can take out without taking the filter apart, and you can rinse off the sponges. There's loads of videos on YouTube about them. I've got one, a larger one on my bigger tank also, which runs really well. Now for the plants, I added a bit more Vallisneria. I really like Vallis because it's a low maintenance plant and it reproduces quite a lot, and you don't have to do any trimmings or anything like that. It's just like tall grass that just reproduces once it does well. It settles in, and you'll just keep growing. You don't need to trim it and replant it or anything like that. And it does grow quite long, which is nice. It will just go across the top of the tank, across the surface of the water. I have some giant Vallis as well in my bigger tank, and it grows to like 2 meters long. It's mad, but it's real nice background plant. And also, if you notice, I painted the back of this aquarium, which I thought looked really good. I just took it outside before I set it up and just sprayed the back with matte black, like metal paint for painting on metal and plastics and stuff. It turned out really well. Yeah, just planting all this Vallis, got it off eBay. You can get quite a lot of plants off eBay. It's quite cheap as well. I just bought a big bunch, and I just planted the majority of them in the back left and back right corners of the tank. And all you need for these is just a few root tabs dotted around underneath the substrate, and that will feed the roots of the Vallis. Got some Kabomba in there as well, Kabomba plants. That does quite well. I only use easy plants because I don't run CO2 or anything. I'm not even using liquid fertiliser or anything on this tank. On my larger tank I am, but on this one I don't use anything, just root tabs and a cheap light, one of those Nicrew lights off Amazon. They're quite cheap and they do the job really well. But this shallow tank is brilliant because it's so shallow. You can plant all your plants in there and you can look over the top of it. It's just really easy to maintain and set up, and you can get a really good look inside from the top just because it's not very tall. Like I said, it's about 24 centimeters tall. Now you can see on the left here the breeder box. I've got a breeder box in there full of baby fish that I raised myself for the first time. I've never raised fry before. I'm going to do another video after this one talking about that. But the fry are Bosemani rainbow fish fry. So these aren't the parents, because this is a different species of rainbow fish. These are dwarf neon rainbows, and the babies are from the Bosemani rainbow fish that I have in the larger tank, the 300 litre. So I have quite a few of them as well. There's like 50 plus in that breeder box. I'm going to do another video about those, and eventually I'll release them all into this tank, because at the moment they're quite small and they might get eaten by the adult rainbow fish in here. But eventually I do let them out, and I'll show that in the next video. But yeah, this is the tank. It worked out really well. It's really nice. Like I said, 100 centimeters long by 45 centimeters deep by about 23 centimeters tall, and it holds about 90 litres. Because this tank is on the second floor of the house, I didn't want it to be too heavy, because I don't want to worry about, you know, crashing through the floor or anything. But because it's so shallow, I can still get away with having a good metre long tank and not have it being really heavy. So it's a custom tank, 10mm thick glass Opti White, and it turned out really well, worth the wait. And the neon rainbows coloured up again nicely. You see the two males on the right with the red fins, and then one female with the yellow fin. If you have any questions about this tank, then please comment below, because I'll always answer the comments, most of the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. But yeah, the tank's complete, and I might do an update video a few weeks or months in the future, just to show how it's grown in, and how the fish are doing, and how the baby fish are doing as well, because it's quite interesting. So yeah, thank you for watching the video.